Do you mind if I give you a compass to navigate the Nigerian economic challenges, so that you don't make the same mistake that Nigeria is making as a nation, where a whole lot of things are going haywire? Of course, the rich also cries, and that's exactly the point where we found ourselves. Look at the indices. For the first time, our inflation rate has hit up to 34 and even above. We have so many challenges, including the exchange rate. I think the last count is over 1,500 naira per dollar. These are things that affect the economy. We can't produce so much. Our GDP is also going down. Nigeria is as well borrowing to keep afloat. And these are simple mistakes that people are also making, mirroring the nation on its own. There are people whose lives are based on the loans and debts that they take every day. Without these things, they can't survive. It is difficult for average families to feed. It is so difficult for people to eat and be satisfied. Just a bowl of garri or fufu going for 300 naira. And what is the minimum wage of an average Nigerian? It just increased recently to 70,000 per month. Now, how can all of this do when we have already taken away the fuel subsidy, increased the energy rates, increased a whole lot of things, and the average man is expected to keep afloat, come to work every day, go about his daily activities, survive, feed his family, pay school fees, and still run without being neck deep in debt? These are the things that we want to look at. We should first of all go away from debt. You don't need to live your life on loans. Things that are not going to be investments, that are not going to bring some returns to you. So first of all, we need to do away with anything loan. And again, I am thinking that we should at this point cut down on our lifestyle and manage it to the point where it can help us to keep afloat. This is not a time for too many travels. This is not a time for flying around. This is not a time for visiting places that are not economically relevant to you, to your family, and anyone around you. This is not a time to embark on frivolities and you want to just go everywhere, much as we are coming to fun. But then we can cut down on some of these things so that we can be alive. And it's only the living that will actually catch fun. So we need to look at some of the things that we do. Of course, Nigeria, as we all know, has depended on a mono product, the fuel or the crude oil. Some of us are actually depending on a particular source of income. At this point, it calls that you need to find something else that you can do. I'm not asking you to take another employment if you're an employee. I'm not asking you to tear yourself in pieces going into other things. But we have come to the point where it looks like we are going back to trade by barter. That most of the things that you have are things that can be exchanged for the other services or goods that you may need, or even money. It's all up to you. But then you have some skills, you have some things that you can give to your neighbor, and you might get something in return, even if you don't get money. We're getting back to that stage. So we can look at these things. Nigeria has depended on oil, but you can diversify and not be in the same mistake with Nigeria. So we can look at some of these things. Now somebody will be asking, what could be the skill that I have? Recently, I heard about a guy. He is already balded, naturally, growing bald hair. And he just gave part of his hair, the remaining side, he gave it out to companies and they will carve their names on it. He takes a walk on the street and they pay him for adverts. That's what he does. There are some other things. In your house, you have a washing machine and you use it to wash for yourself. Can't you use it to wash for your neighbor who wants to live luxuriously? You can do something for him and maybe get a naira or two out of it. Myself talking to you, I've at some point I had to wash my driver's clothes, iron it, starch it, and get money from my driver. But that stopped only when he found out I'm the one who does all those jobs. It doesn't mean that I was hungry, but I just wanted to prove a point that these are things that we all can do. So when you look inward, you can find something that can help you to keep afloat in this economic challenge. Of course, you don't need to buy everything in the house. There are things you can create on your own. A whole lot of us who are so in love with having flowers. It's still about our lifestyle. Why not plant some things that can help you? Why don't you go into agro? I love agriculture anyway. I love to farm. So you can actually go into planting of tomatoes, planting of some green vegetables behind you. This is a time that we should all have a homestead garden. If you don't have, you should have, for several reasons. You can as well teach your children, because in schools we don't have farms anymore. But now, If you can do one at the back of the house, your child can know how a seed of grain can come out from the ground and begin to fruit. It's an interesting experience they can as well give them. That bonds your family as well. But you can as well cut down on what you spend every day trying to keep afloat, trying to put food on the table. There are so many other things that we can as well do. I don't know how you yourself, you are holding up. I don't know how you are doing it. But I want to tell you again that there are persons I know who are doing the cooperative purchases. They don't do this. More like a time we see so many of people buying foods in bulk and then they share amongst themselves. You need to find one, get connected to it. That helps you. The economy of scale, you buy in bulk, you share, it's lesser, it's cheaper, than buying everything. You want to buy salt, you go and buy 1 naira 50 kobo, and all of those trips. So, but if you can do bulk buying with some people, you buy, you share, that helps you and that brings down your cost. Again, there are people who also do some cooperative contributions. There are people here who are finding it difficult to save. But then when you already identify some people who are worthwhile, of course, good people, because they say a person where never lose contribution before, nine they fear to take class for a susu. So if you find good people with whom you can work out and a susu and a contribution kind of thing, you can do it. That's another way to save bulk money so that you can use it to do your business. Our banking system will not give you money until you don't need it. They give money only to those who don't need money. But for those who are in their need, nobody considers them, nobody thinks about them. But you cannot be in the same mistake with your nation, dear Nigeria. You need to find your way out of these woods. There are little things that we can do, and I'm sure you're already doing some. What we're trying to do is to find a solution around all of these problems and challenges around us. And I'm sure that you have something that you're already doing. We don't mind if you share this with us. Let's get to know more. But we must do something. Each person deserves a help from another just by exchange of ideas and thoughts. We can do this and a lot more. All right, we'd like to know your thoughts about all this. You can share your own ideas on the comment section. Follow us on our handles on Instagram, on Twitter, TikTok. This is Insights with Dr. K.